What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. What would Vinny do? So, since we last spoke, a lot going on that I want to touch base on. Tonight, I'm actually going to talk about Keller Williams, the company I work for, which I've been with over 10 years. I kind of had a hand in open up the Bronx office. I started out in Scarsdale. So, just lately, a lot of new companies are coming out and they kind of like taking shots at KW, and it's kind of got me into a defensive mode. And I really don't. I mean, obviously I like my company. I've been with my company I love my company, actually, and I'm just going to talk about some of the things that I really like about it, and kind of dispel the myth that we're some kind of going away, or we're not relevant anymore, and like these no brick and mortar companies are they're the next Netflix, and I just don't. I'm not really buying it. I love our company. We're growing. We hired eight agents last month. We have some amazing talent. Probably the best, honestly, some of the best agents in the Bronx working in my company. And and again, I got a shout out to my broker, Mr. Jamal Hattie, a good friend of mine, just a class act. And I've been in this business long enough to know most brokers. Like, I've dealt with other brokers, and they don't operate the way he does, and nothing even close. And he just cares about the people in our company and in our world, as we like to say. And today's actually Red Day in our company, and that's another thing. It's actually one day out of the year we give back, and today we gave back to community. We did some painting, and we gave some books back. And every year is just something different, and it's another amazing part of the company. And after the whole day giving back, we go back and we had a barbecue. It was a great event. I want to thank the ALC and everyone who put it together. And I'm just proud to be a part of it. And I just can't say enough about it. And the relationships I've made, the friendships, in being in this company for over 10 years. And before I got to KW, I worked at a few companies, and I'm not here to throw dirt, but honestly, it just never felt right. And the real estate business can be a weird business, because a lot of people don't really practice ethics and integrity, and I don't mind, actually. I kind of got used to it. It plays to my advantage, actually, and I think that's why I've been able to do so well, for that reason. So it's been a big part of my longevity, how I've been able to be successful, and just working with integrity and really putting the client's needs first. When you do it that way, it can be very satisfying. So for agents starting out, it's important you choose the right people to be around. And they say success leaves clues, right? But the tricky part of that is there's a lot of people in this business that are successful, or they call themselves successful, but they don't really carry themselves the right way. And people in the industry know who they are and know how they operate. So it can be tricky in that way. And you come into a business new, and it happened to me. It happened to me. I had some people who I trusted, and I'm like, why would they teach me the wrong way to do things? Or maybe, and it's just the fact of it, And a lot of people, when they're making money, look the other way, at things that maybe may not be the right decision, and things that you're doing that are not so ethical. So for me, it's never been about that. From an early on, I realized, like, that it was the money wasn't the big why for me. You know what I mean? And it was, of course, I wanted to make money. No one wants to work without making money, but it wasn't my main focus. And it's just, it came to a point where I realized helping other people And when I say that, I mean clients, of course, other people trying to do what I'm doing, and just giving service. And when you do that and you focus on that to help the client's needs, give service, the byproduct of that is money. That's the funny part about it. So if you look at it that way, a lot of people start out with the money in mind, and their actions are determined by how much money they make or what's going to make them the most money. And that's, if you do it the other way, if you know going in, my actions are going to be, I'm going to help people with probably one of the most important things in their life, and I'm going to give them service and really respect what I'm doing, and then money's going to come. That's the better way to do it, and I figured it out. And once you figure that out, things change, and it took me quite a while to understand that. So like I said before, there's a lot of new companies coming out, and they're taking shots at KW. And no brick and mortar, virtual training, which, speaking of virtual training, I took a class last week, and it was amazing. It was about a rock star executive assistant, and just the energy in the room. Like, I'm not sure a virtual experience would have that same effect. Again, you could love the company you work for, and I'm happy for your success, but you don't have to dim other people's light to shine brighter, So KW is still here. We're still going strong. And like I said before, we have some of the best agents in the Bronx that work at our company. And I'm willing to put our lineup up against any company in the Bronx. So for me, another big reason why I love the company, and I was attracted to them 10 years ago, was because the broker, besides being a great guy, and which I kind of felt from the first day I met him, he didn't do business. And for me, that was always a big thing. I don't want a broker taking a percentage of my money, and then he's going to do deals as well. Because if that's the case, when does he have time to work on your business, right? Shouldn't your broker, who you're paying money to, be spending his time figuring out how to make the agents grow? That's how I envision it, And for me, that's always been important to me, that I'm not competing with my broker. And the first couple of jobs I worked at, I was, and that bothered me from the beginning. I remember literally, so I'm just starting out, and I have some questions, obviously, and I go to my broker's door. And there was a sign on the door, you can't talk to me between 12 and 2 o'clock. And it was because he was working on his business, which I respect for other agents to time block and to respect their time. But if it's your broker, he should have time for you. Like, that's always how I felt. And I kind of, from that point on, I made it in my mind, I always said, if I'm not going to open up my own company, I'm going to work for a broker who doesn't do business and doesn't compete with me. And that was another thing that always attracted me to KW. And I always say the company helped me to think bigger, and it definitely played a part in my longevity, my success. They teach you the importance of hiring talented people. Like, when a lot of people I see, they think they can just bring on someone who's not doing business, and they're gonna give them leads, and then they're gonna get split it with them. But if the person's not doing business, you end up having to spend more time teaching them when you could have just made more money yourself. So that's another thing I learned, the importance of hiring talent and what to look for. So it's you start to figure out what's important, right? So a lot of people look back at the past and wish they could go back and stuff like that. And for me, now is like a real exciting time for me. Like, I'm figuring things out, and it's the possibilities for me seem endless. Like, I loved my childhood. I loved being a teenager. It was fun, but I love now. Like, my moves now as an adult are just more meaningful, and just to me, and the possibilities, like I said, are endless. Traveling, going where you want, um, creating companies. Like I'm in the process of investing in properties in Texas. I touched on it a little bit last time, and I had someone call me up, and they were kind of interested. So I'm really not the type. I'm not gonna go over every single move I'm doing on my show. But if someone's interested and they want to reach out to me, I'm willing to talk about what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm in the process. I'm buying some stuff in Texas. It's exciting. Um, it's just good, man. Like playing ball was great when I was young, but building companies and being able to help people around you is pretty good too. And I learned that a while ago. To help others, you need to first help yourself. So I'm gonna keep grinding. I'm gonna keep doing things others aren't willing to do. I'm gonna outwork people, and I'm gonna put myself in a better position to help the people who I care about in my life, and that's what keeps me going. That's the reason. So you gotta see it. If you can't see where you're going or where you want to go, you got no shot. So for me, knowing what the goal is and knowing why, and then it's full steam ahead. But being in it for the long haul. So that's where patience needs to come in. I talk about that all the time too. So my guest next week, Giorgio Jacinto, I'm having him on next week, and I talked with him a little bit before, and he told me it took 10 years in the restaurant business before he started to make a profit. Like now he has an amazing, successful restaurant. It's Giorgio's in New Rochelle. And I'm also, besides having him on the show, I'm actually have reservations to go there next week, which I'm excited about because I heard great things about it. And most people on the show that are doing well, it doesn't happen overnight. So patience plays a major part, especially if you're getting into real estate. Because I can speak firsthand on that. I can't listen. I understand it happened in any business, like, but real estate, it could be rewarding. Like I said, I tell people now it's satisfying. You're helping people with the most important thing in their life, and when they tell you they're grateful for it, it's a powerful feeling, right? You set somebody up for the rest of their life, but it takes patience. Like it took me 3 years to learn how to make money, right? And then it probably took another 3 years to learn how to make decent money. So that's 6 years. And then it probably took me another 4 years to really turn the corner and to get it to a point where I truly feel like I know that I'm really good at this and I bring value. And so that's 10 years to get to that point. And are you ready to put in 10 years whatever you're doing? Most people are not. I see people come and go. Like I said, I've been doing this over a decade at the same company, and I've seen people come and go, and they come in talking a lot, and then what is that saying? They come in like a lion and they leave like a lamb. So you could talk all you want. You could call yourself a top producer. You could whatever you want to talk, and you're going to be the best. But the numbers in sales, there's no lying. Like you can't fake it. The numbers will speak for themselves, and eventually it will weed you out if you're not gonna put in the work. You won't survive. That's kind of the beauty of it, actually. So you really, people who talk like after a while they're just gone. So you really you could laugh about it after you heard them talking all that smack, and then they're no longer in the business. You see them somewhere else. Um, so yeah, are you in it for the long haul? If you're going to get in it, are you in the whatever you're going to do? It's not just real estate. It's anything. You have the right mindset. Like, are you training for the marathon or for a sprint? Are you around the right people who are also in it for the long haul? I've seen so many people come and go, like I said. And honestly, be honest with yourself. Are you truly putting in the work to get you where you envision yourself? For me, a big thing that's helped me is putting the right people around me who see my vision and they support me. That can make a big difference. Mindset plays a major part. Like that class I was talking about last week, which I got a lot out of, and just the mindset of, so it's a class for executive assistants and what they can bring to the table if they're truly performing at a high level. But how many are even thinking of that? How many are just coming to work, do what they got to do, get paid? So now this whole other mindset comes in where you realize that it can be a lot bigger. If you perform at a high level, this whole thing can turn into something really big, and you can and benefit from that happening. And that's what mindset is. So I see it all the time. You see people who are negative, and every good, they find a problem with every solution. And people like that, it's very rare that they're successful. And if they are, they're miserable anyway. So is that really success? Not to me. Like that's the beauty of this. And I say it all the time. Like I'm putting people around me that are gonna give me a better quality of life. And that comes before the money, the quality of life for me anyway, at this point. And I'll never, hopefully I'll never have to change that. And I'm grateful to be able to operate like that. So mindset can make a big difference. It plays a major part in your success. People. So here's another thing: people don't do anything really to improve themselves. So how do you expect to get better at what you do? If it's sales, how do you get better? Like, you have to take classes, you have to read books, you have to uh, just work at the things that are going to make you better. Like, and people have expectations of getting better without doing anything. Right? Sports, basketball. How do you get better? You shoot. You take 1,000 shots. You work on your stamina. It's the same thing. So, and there's another thing, as far as there's a lot of people that are solo realtors, and then all of a sudden, like, you see they're a team now, and it's a totally different thing. So if you could, the best players in sports, when they become coaches, it doesn't always result in the same success they had when they were playing, right? Magic Johnson was not a good coach, one of the best players to ever play. And then he just fired as general manager of the Lakers because he wasn't a good general manager. So these are three different jobs. As a player, not too many people better than Magic Johnson. You become a coach, that doesn't mean you're as good as a coach as you're going to be a player. Most cases, it's not. So if you're a great salesperson, if you're a solo agent, and now you're making a transition to a team leader and you're building a team, you now got to work at being a leader, like the same way you had to work at doing sales. So you're in a different position. All your numbers, your great sales numbers, don't help you when it comes to being a leader. That's the same thing what I'm saying with Magic Johnson. Now you're not passing the ball anymore to James Worthy. You're doing something. You're on the sidelines, and people can't do what you did. So now you got to coach people that are not as good as you sometimes, and that could be hard. So you to call yourself a leader in sports or in business, it's a huge responsibility. And listen, and me, honestly, I've done it in both. I've played, and I'm not saying I called myself a leader. I've done what it takes to be a leader. Nobody calls it. Derek Jeter didn't call himself a leader. You know what he did? He showed up every day. Every time he talked in an interview, he carried himself. He didn't throw anybody under the bus. In the playoffs, he hit when he needed to hit. He made every play. That's how you become a leader, not by saying I'm the leader. Like, it's your actions. Being a leader, it's what you do. It's not what you say you're going to do. And I did it for a long time on a basketball team, and we were very successful. And I I remember when it ended, people calling me and thanking me. Like, these were separate calls from me. So it's a team of 7 guys, and it's a league that's just a neighborhood league, and it's very competitive, and you're playing with all people from the neighborhood. And we, like I said, we won a lot of championships. And when it was over, people separately called me to thank me for the experience. And why did I deserve someone to call me and thank? I was a player on the team, so what did I do to deserve to be thanked? You know what I mean? But I had to leave some kind of an impact on how I carried myself, and I was always prepared. And I still speak to people who play in the league, and they say that the team now that followed us has more talent, and they have not been successful because lack of leadership. So it's important. And like I said, you if you do it correctly, nothing needs to be said. You know, I try to think back. I try to think what makes a good leader, right? At KW, we have a position called a team leader, and it's it's similar to what a manager would do, but the word leader, right, is better than managing. And it's honestly, I've been, like I said, I've been here 10 years. I've worked in this, we have two offices. We have one in Scarsdale, one in the Bronx. It's been a tough position to fill. So being a leader it's not easy. And people want to anoint themselves leaders or team leaders, and that's not how it works. So, um, a leader needs to constantly be getting better at leading, like working on the craft. Like I said, reading books, taking classes, understanding what it means to be a leader. People are dependent on you. That's what it meant to me. Just, so and when things are going good, that's easy. That's easy being a leader when things are going good. It's when you hit the rough patches, and are you going to stand in there, right, as a leader and take the bullets, and not only with your team or with your whether it's a business team, but you got to take the bullets for them. To me, anything goes wrong on the Ferrante Realty team with someone on the team, it's on me. It's on me because at the end of the day, I hired that person. So I should have trained that person. I should have prepared that person for what just happened and what wasn't handled correctly. And it's my fault. And I took that same approach in basketball. I could have had a game where I had a triple double and we lose. And what could I have done differently? Like I should have made it better. And to me, that's what leadership is, not passing the buck. And it's not for everybody. So, a person in real estate, a person giving you leads and you splitting them with them, that's not a team leader. That's not that's called referral. So people like to call it a team. And like I said, they might be the biggest like a great salesperson. So they have a lot of business. So the plan is they're going to give someone else the business that they can't handle and split it. That's not a team. That's a referral. That's someone giving you a referral. And a team is much deeper than that. And it's a lot more than just giving you leads. A team leader is monitoring, tracking what's going on, helping you overcome obstacles, putting systems in place and putting talented people around you to make you as productive as possible, right? To help you reach your goals you didn't even think or see, and in a lot shorter time. And that's what a leader's supposed to be doing. If you're on a team now and you're not really sure, if it sounds more like the first thing I described, where you're just getting leads and paying half the money, I don't want to give you the bad news, but you're not on a team. You're just working referrals. So if you're thinking of joining a team and you have questions, listen, feel free to reach out to me. And I sincerely mean that, not just KW agents. Of course, I welcome KW agents, but any agent. I remember first starting out and how important good advice was. So I definitely want to pay that forward. And I'm here for anybody having questions on how the team should work and what the team dynamic should be. But I'll tell you this, more times it's what I just described. There's not a lot of true teams that are being run as teams. A lot of it is just giving leads and splitting it, which is cool if that's what you want to do. But That's not a team. So understand, and for people calling themselves team leaders, just understand what it truly means. It's a lot more than just giving leads. And just because you're a good salesperson, like I said, doesn't mean you can lead or manage people. Two totally different things. Just like sales takes a long time to perfect, so does being a team leader. But you need to work at it. I'll say it again. The same way you work on sales craft, you need to work on understanding and the whole concept of having a team and what it entails. And you can get better at it, you know. And for people joining a team, just understand this, right? A lot of people ask me, should I be on a team or should I not be on a team? Like, what are the benefits? What are the pros? What are the cons? So people have come up to me and said, can I be on your team? I know I want to be on your team, and I'm like, no, you don't. And the reason I say that is because from my experience, a lot of people get into real estate because they have the mindset that they can make their own schedule, they can work when they want to, and they're going to make a lot of money, right? First of all, it's not true. So that's another thing I'm going to tell you. I'm ruining a lot of people's parade today. That's not true. You're going to have to work harder if you want to make a lot of money in real estate. You're going to have to work harder than you do at the 9 to 5 that you're trying to avoid. So I'm just letting you know that. Just getting you into the right mindset, like we talked about. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just telling you what it is. And if you want to just make a little money and work at your own schedule, you can do that too, and that's fine. But the point I was trying to make is when you want to be on someone, the minute you tell someone you want to be on their team, if they're running a team correctly, now what you're basically saying is you want to be held accountable. So there's no more of working at your own leisure once you join someone else's team. So that's the reason why I tell people no, you don't, because a lot of people don't understand what it means. They think they're just going to get leads and work at their own leisure, and it's not that. And I'll tell you another trick. I'm going to tell everybody a trick. So if you're ever thinking about asking me to be on my team, if you ask me, how do you get your license? That you're automatically disqualified. So just remember that. Like, if you don't have if you're not savvy enough, or I don't even know whether willing to go on Google and look at where you could take a course and how to get licensed, you're going to ask me how you need to do that. That's going to, right there, you just disqualified yourself from being on my team. So I'm just letting you know that. A little trick I use to gauge who's really serious about it. And what else? So yeah. Think about it before you want to do that. Like, a lot of people say they want to do that, but what you really want to do is once you're on a team, like I said, you're making a commitment to the team. And if you want to work at your own leisure, it's not going to work out. It's not going to be a smooth flowing team atmosphere. You're better off working for a broker who is happy if you do 2 deals or you do 10 deals, because they make money either way, and they're not going to spend a lot of time nurturing you and mentoring you, so it doesn't affect them. So if you want to work at your own leisure, that's the path you should take. That's just a little insight on a team concept, which is a big part of another big thing I like about KW, and they kind of instilled that in me too, because when I started, there was no thoughts of a team. Obviously, you start as a solo agent, and it gave me a path and kind of a blueprint of, and for me, I always felt like as a solo agent, you can only take it so far. Like anything in life, you need people around you. So I love that. That was another thing I loved about KW. I'm shouting out my company today. I told you and the same way I told you, it took me 10 years to turn the corner in sales, right? So what did I say at the beginning? It took me 3 years to start making any money, period. Then it took another 3 years to make decent money. So that's 6 years. So I don't know so 6 years to make decent money, and then another 4 to really turn it up and figure it out. So that's 10 years. So now picture same thing for becoming a team leader now. So you're starting something new. So, and guess what? I'm about in my 8th year. So if I'm following the pattern, what's going to happen in 2 years? I'm going to turn the corner and I'm going to really figure it out. And that's kind of where I feel I am, to be honest with you. But it took me 8 years, the same way it did in sales, to figure out how to be a team leader and what I needed to do to be good at it. So, like I said, don't jump so quick to join someone's team because they do a lot of business. I've heard horror stories from buyer agents that joined a team of top salespeople, and honestly, it was so bad that they're not even in the business anymore. So think of it that way when you're looking to be on a team. Like, think of what I said about just because they're the top salesperson, they're just starting out as a team leader, and it's a totally different thing. So that's what you need to be leery of when you're joining a team. Is it a team that's been going for a while and it's been through some stuff, and it's kind of now it knows how to run, you know? So 2 years away from sounds about perfect for me to turn the corner. So I'm ready. So, and as always, you know, it took hard work and working at being a team leader besides doing sales, you know. So I kind of took 10 years, figured out the sales. Then I started to be a team leader. I started to build my team, and then, of course, I kept working on the sales craft. But as I was working on the sales, so think about that. If people like to just start out and they're doing the business a year, they want to have a team. It's kind of almost impossible. You didn't figure out the sales part of it yet. Now you're jumping to the team part of it. So just be mindful when and obviously the same thing for good team leaders that have been doing it a while and know what they're doing. But they don't need to hear this. You don't want to just bring on anyone, right? That's not doing business. You want talented people, and once you get the systems in place, they'll come, right? And what is it? If you want to attract, what's the best way to attract 10s as far as business is concerned? Is to be a 10. So if you become good at what you're doing, that's how you're going to attract good people. If you're not good at what you're doing, how do you expect to attract good people? So get better yourself, and then, like I have a buyer agent now who we've talked a while about her joining me, and she's doing her own thing. And she said something. She said, I want to step up my game so that when I come with you, we could just kill it. And I respect that. And I'm like, do your thing. And while you're doing your thing, I'm going to get better at being a team leader. So when you come back in prime shape, ready to do it, I'm going to be ready to help you do it. So just work on your craft and go over the pros and cons if you're thinking about being on a team, and just understand what it is. And that's it. I just wanted to go over that. I wanted to talk about my company a little bit. I want to thank everybody, as always, for tuning in. What would Vinny do? Just keep sending the questions, comments, like our page. Tune in next Thursday, May 16th. Like I said, my boy Giorgio DeCinto is going to be on, owner of Giorgio's in New Rochelle. Just overall good dude. Our kids go to school together at St. Teresa. Great guy. Like I said, it's going to be a great interview. I'm excited to hear his journey. And keep putting in the work, whatever you're doing. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there on Sunday, of course. And as always, thank you. Have a great night.